morning.
Hi, good morning. Nice to see you.
You too. You got a hair or face day.
Yes, oh my God, it needs more than a haircut. I don't know what it needs, really.
Well, I share that with you because yesterday I had a candy floss hair day. It was like, what? It's just, there was, yeah.
I honestly have reached my wit's end. I wake up in the morning and I don't know what to do. I just think it looks so terrible every day. I've decided I'm going to take half my avocado today and mash it up with some olive oil and put it on as a
Oh,
treatment because
nice.
I need something. It is so candy floss, frizzy, a little bit dry.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I mean, if I could say there's one thing, and it's not that it's gonna like completely change my life, but hair changes massively, doesn't it? And when I see women in their 60s and 70s with this beautiful hair, and I know some of them, I think, how is that possible?
Genetics. I hate it. I have, without a doubt, less than half the amount of hair I had probably 6 or 8 years ago. When perimenopause started kicking my ass, my hair started thinning. And now in the last year or two, I mean, I've always spotted it, but I can decidedly see gaps. I can see my scalp more now because my hair is thinned, and it's my mother's fault.
Well, you may be right. I can't argue with that. Who can? But my hair did thin a lot, and I like you, I was thinking, oh God, and I could feel like
Yeah,
little patches,
patches, yeah.
but it could be the genetic thing. But stress plays a huge part of the whole anxiety piece because my hair has thickened and I don't have the bald spots anymore.
Really?
And I had lots of broken off pieces
Broken
of hair here.
ones, yeah.
Yeah. My hair doesn't do any of that anymore. It does candy floss. Definitely does
I
that.
think I think you're right on all accounts, and I think it's a bit of all of that. I think it's genetics, I think it's stress, I think it's menopause, without without a doubt.
Yeah. But the
Um,
good news is it can grow back.
Well, you see, me and Carol, my friend who put me in touch with you, we chat about this all the time. So she's currently doing coffee grains. She went through like onion juice on her hair. Now she's doing coffee grains, and she's convinced that it's not falling out as much. Um, and if you think of it, you get caffeine shampoo, which is supposed to boost
True.
your. So there's something in there. So she's doing it. I kind of feel like I'm a lost cause. I can't imagine. Um, but then I've always had thin hair. I've always had my mum's hair, like very, very fine, but a lot of it.
That's what I
I
have.
mean, this
Yeah.
ponytail, I mean, that, look how skinny, that is all my hair, that
Yeah.
is tiny. It's the least hair I've ever had in my
Yeah.
life. Yeah, I've, I mean, but I mean, apart from that, my hair's dry and it needs a haircut and it needs a style. But I don't know what I'm going to do about falling out
Yeah.
part. I always tell Chris, I hope you like wigs, or you hope you like bald wives, and then he looks at me horrified.
Well, you can hang on to the fact that my hair was like that, but it grew back. I mean, my hair is definitely, all those bald patches are gone.
Well, your hair looks thick and lovely.
Yeah, but honestly, I was getting the bald patches. I seriously was.
Okay.
I'm not making that up. I definitely
Yeah.
had them. And it was, I mean, it still falls out a lot, but it was,
Like, yeah. That's how
yeah,
mine. That's how mine was.
yeah,
I mean, my mum's hair is definitely very fine hair, which is where I get it from. I don't get it from my dad's side of the family because the Lebanese have like really thick, beautiful hair. Um, Mum's is thinning even now at 83. My sister, growing up, had the most thickest, luscious hair. We all thought she had the Lebanese side of the family hair. Oh my God, she's in the same position as me, and I would say slightly worse. I mean, she's 6 years older, but I think she's got even less than what I've
mm.
got. So I don't know. It's just easier to blame my mum.
Well, You can apply that to everything, really, can't you? Let's be honest. Yeah. Anyway, enough about hair. That's not what we're here for. We're about you and what's working and moving forward. So let's start with what's working. What's been good?
Okay. So something I was thinking of this morning was I've been doing, in the last few weeks since I've been with you and we discussed doing pottery, I've done more pottery than I have in a long time. And I think it's to do with my all or nothing approach, that I often think if I can't do pottery every day, or if I can't, if I'm not constantly doing it, then what's the point? And the truth is, I haven't done it every day. I do it when I can and I can fit it in, and I'm making more of an effort to, make that time happen. And it's bringing me so much pleasure and joy. And I think it just indicates that I need to move away from that all or nothing, that black and white thinking.
Okay.
Yes, I bumped into my pottery teacher yesterday at work. She came to buy some plants, and some of my stuff is in the kiln, and I'm so excited to see it come out because I use oxides. That's very exciting this week. I used oxides on Monday for the first time. Only cobalt though, so it's going to be bluey. I've never done it before, and I used it on all my pieces in different layers and different textures, and I've got no idea. That's the joy of pottery.
Yeah.
So that's actually quite a biggie. I haven't felt confident enough or comfortable yet to do that. So when I saw, I was really excited, thinking my stuff's going to come out. And I was thinking how nice that is, that I've got something going on, even if I don't get, how we say divide the day up and make your day how you want it. But it's not always going to work out that I can have 2 hours to go into my pottery studio and do pottery, because life and work and vaccines and jabs and things get in the way. And I think I maybe need to not hold on so tight to that schedule and be more flexible, that there will be days when, like this morning, I didn't meditate because I was so tired. The last 2 days at work have been so busy. I think I slept for 10.5 hours last night. Physically knackered. I could barely lift my arms and legs yesterday. And I'm fine with the fact that I haven't, and I'll do it later. And I know I'm going to do it later during today, and that's fine. So it's maybe not holding on so tight, I think.
Okay, that's good. I like it. So what's been good this week have been, the pottery and practicing the oxides and putting them in the kiln.
That's been super exciting.
What else?
I can't even think what I've done this week. So Monday I had my vaccine. Did I do work? No, I had a break on Tuesday. Oh no, I had 2 workstation assessments.
You did, yeah.
Online. They went well because I'm good at them. I've been doing them for a long time. I can do them. I know I'm good at them. I know enough about the body anatomy and physiology because of my massage background. So I always bring that into the ergonomics and the seated position and things like that. So one woman had a sore wrist, the other one had a sore back, and probably have managed to sort them both out. And it was quite nice to do it again. I haven't done one online for probably a month or 2. That went really well. And then work, oh my God, garden centre, everybody and their dog is out buying plants. It was heaving Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm learning, which is nice. They've asked me to do more scanning in of the deliveries that come in. And do you know what's really nice about that is yesterday I made one. First initially told Chris I messed up, and then I thought, no, it's not I messed up, I just made a error, and that's fine. I booked a whole load of stuff under a different supplier, so I scanned in like trolleys and loads of things, but I put it under the wrong supplier name. And in the past, you know, I'd be like, oh my God, self-worth, there we go, whatever. And it's absolutely fine. And I had to go tell the woman that was going to fix it, you know. But that's what I did. And she's obviously had it happen to her. That's what people do, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just fine. But I was really pleased with the way I dealt with it. I mean, I was apologetic because it's going to take her time to fix my mistake. But then
Yeah.
that is her job.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
part of her job, and I'll take her some eggs because I did feel a bit bad. But it felt quite nice to not let it affect that 9 that sits below.
Yeah.
You know, and my boss, who's really more like a friend colleague, I mean, she's a 40-year-old Polish girl, really lovely. And she said to me, Rose, she said, not even I've done that. I said, yes, but I'm special, aren't I? I said, I do, you know, I do a lot of things first. And I didn't let it bother I didn't let it bother me, which was really good. And I'm enjoying learning. I mean, I'm never going to use scanning anywhere, but it's quite a methodical process. And I'm just enjoying learning something new,
Yeah.
I suppose. And I can do more than I could do a year ago when I started the job. Now my boss can just send me off in a direction and ask me to do things, because I've got experience already of a whole year behind me, which is really lovely. Because I really knew nothing when I started. I knew what a rose was and a fuchsia.
Hey.
And that was probably it, you know.
Yeah, like it.
And now I can make decisions, use my initiative, work more on my own, and totally own up to mistakes, which is absolutely fine.
Oh, I love it.
That's quite nice. You know, it's a really nice position to be in, because I don't know when that changed. I mean, I've been owning up to mistakes and not afraid to put my hand up and ask questions for quite a number of years already. And I like that. But I suppose in the past, what's different is that it sometimes maybe has affected my sense of self-worth, whereas now it definitely, you know, I've really, you've given me a visual to fix onto that 9.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's a real visual. I don't, you know I think of it as roots in the tree, but I don't see that. I just think of this really solid number 9, and I just think I'm not fucking giving that up.
I love that. Love that. Love that. Right, so much I want to go into here. Right, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the pottery, and you said, if I can't do it every day, I can't make the time to do it every day. And you were saying, I need to work on that all or nothing thinking, which you may or may not. I mean, I get that. I know that all or nothing thinking can be really debilitating and unhelpful. But there's also a way that you could spin it 180 and get it to work for you a bit like, you know, when we talked about when you were delivering your training, and you'd always looked at, okay, well, what could I improve? What could be better? And we flipped that 180 moment. Well, let's reflect on what you did well and how you could make that even better. So this isn't about you have to do this, but it's just a thought is, what if I can do it every day? What if I could? What would the day look like? What would that be like?
So along those same lines, maybe we spoke about it last week, I was thinking, because there's so many processes to pottery, you don't just always sit down and make. There's a, you know, a contemplative before and blah, blah. So when we were talking about bringing it in every day, I suppose I'm thinking I can't physically get up and go into the studio for 2 hours, but yesterday, I was thinking I could certainly put half an hour aside and do some sketches. And I did that the other night. I didn't get, I think it might have been on Tuesday, you know, after I spoke to you, I hadn't had time to fit that in yet in my, yes, right. I hadn't had time to fit it in yet in my day. Then the evening started. We wanted to watch something on telly and I took my notebook with me. And while the telly was on in the background, I did some sketches of the next piece that I want to make. That's something I've never done before. So I was thinking, it doesn't have to be actual hand building, throwing pottery. I could be Googling oxides, which I did because I knew nothing about oxides. I had to learn about them. Sketches. There's lots of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. And I think, you know, I know you'll get there because you've been progressively getting there and you've already got that example. You've gone, oh, actually, no, I could do it for just half an hour. I could just sketch ideas. So you have already challenged your thinking to come up with those ideas. But I think the thing that you want to come back to is the structure of your day. So if we go back to the idea of either the tree or the building, the architect, the foundation stones. And it takes, I mean, for goodness sake, this is how most of us are taught to be, is we structure our day around what pays the bills. That's the first thing, like, or we structure it around, okay, when do I eat? Like the core elements of our day are money, food, rest.
Or what needs to be done, the sort of external things that are pulling me.
Yeah. And that's how, you know, that's partly understandable. You know, we can go all sociological and look at Maslow, or we could just look at survival and all of that. I mean, we could justify that in all kinds of different directions. But, and I can't believe I'm going with Maslow because I've never studied sociology. And I know
we did a bit of Maslow at uni. Yeah.
It just springs into mind. You know, there's the self-actualization piece, which is really what we're about. You know, we've done the 50 years. We've served our time. Now it's time for us to bloody benefit from all the crap.
Yes.
And go, oh, right. Okay, I've arrived. Now, what do I want? What do I want for me?
Wow.
Yes, and that's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, old habits die hard. So we go, yes, absolutely. Right. What do I want to do for me? And you're making huge strides, you know, with thinking about Spain and doing more of the pottery and reorganizing and you know, actually saying to Chris, can you feed them today? You know, and there's huge shifts that you're thinking about. What do I want for me now? But understandably, it's like a piece of elastic. Ooh, there's the whole, yeah, but I got to do this, that creeps back in. And we just want to go, no, the weeds. These are weeds. And the foundation stone at the moment, like we can, like I said, perhaps a building isn't the best analogy because you don't change foundation stones, do you? But with us, we can. So at the moment, one of the core elements of what lights you up, what makes you go and gets excited is pottery. And walking, I think, is one of those things that there's not a lot of that happening. And riding the bike, maybe not. I mean, there'll be more of that now, I expect.
Waiting for the weather,
Yeah. But reinstalling those as the cornerstones so that the other stuff gets built around those. That's the challenge.
I know you say I don't have to write shit down, but...
No, you can write down whatever you like.
Am I allowed to?
Yeah, I know sometimes I do say that, but I'm... Yeah.
It's all right, you're allowed to. I do. It can be a way of distracting and not listening.
No, you are. You're a great listener. You're a great listener.
And then building the rest of the day around that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think we spoke about this last week. I need visuals because, you know, I forget what we've spoken about, or I forget. And I don't have the memory that remembers everything. So I need to get that up so that I can visually see it, so it reminds me.
Well, if a visual helps, if you imagine that the building you've been creating.
Jesus, come. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Where's your brother? No. Come on, Dad. Go on, Dad. I thought maybe I left one of them outside, but they're fine. Sorry.
All right. So the building that's being created up to date, and like, this is not a fixed building. This is a building that moves around a lot. But imagine you've created a building, but it's a building that's watertight. Like, it's got a roof, it's got windows, but maybe it's not quite the building you'd like. Do you know what I mean? It's a building, and it's
needs to be
okay.
aesthetically pleasing. It needs the bright materials.
Yeah, and the things like the pottery and the walking have become little afterthoughts that might get put. Oh, I might put some shutters on the windows,
Yeah.
or I might paint. You know, I might grow a rose. There you go. Grow a rose up the outside. But do you know what I mean? They're not the fun at the moment.
Actual foundation.
They're the window dressing. They're the frippery.
The add-ons, yeah.
Which is okay, except if you shift the emphasis to, well, hang on a minute, what if I'm rebuilding the building such that I can still have roses and shutters because they might be nice, but those are even like things I haven't even thought of yet. The foundation of this new building is, well, no, but I want the kitchen here, and I want the living room there, and I want the doors to look like this, and I want it to be this many stories and take up. Do you know what I mean? It's what do I want the house to look like? That's the structure of your life, your day, your week.
It's really weird because I'm really resisting this. I can feel the resistance,
Yeah.
you know, the forces within me. I can feel it. I'm thinking it sounds good in theory, and in practice, how's that going to work? And as you're speaking, I'm thinking, okay, so I could wake up even earlier in the morning and make sure I've got time in the studio before work, or maybe I do it on the days that I'm not working at the garden centre, because I can't imagine waking up early on the day I'm at a garden centre. We're not during the busy season anyway, because we're so busy. And then I'm thinking, so summer's coming, it's going to be lighter, it will be easier, I'll be able to work. Instead of watching telly at night, I can work in the studio, you know, because summer's coming, but then what when winter comes? Yeah, it's feeling good in theory, and I'm struggling to see how I'm going to put it into practice.
Okay, so that's the stumbling block, and that's fine. And you don't have to do that. Okay, let's, like, you know, like last week I said, okay, you don't need to write the notes, stop writing the notes. You're trying to jump from, and you really don't have to do this, jump from, oh, I gotta create something new. It's another hat. It's turned. I see the resistance is because we turned it into that's something else I have to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's feeling like a chore now.
Yeah.
It's feeling hard.
Whereas you don't have to do anything. Like you don't have to, but just try on for size. How does that feel? If I plant that as a seed, how might that grow? You know, how might my day look if this were the cornerstone of it?
Yeah, and that makes me feel at ease already, and I can breathe thinking about that. I think I have jumped too far, and I think that is something, that's that black and white thinking. I think I jumped too far ahead with all those little steps that need to happen in between to over here, and I don't know how to get over here because I haven't done all those little steps.
Exactly. So I think what's happened is, you know, if you think back to when we were putting down the markers, and I said, you know, we don't want to set those big goals because those make us freeze. No,
Absolutely.
can't do that. Just want the little things, and you know, it probably what I've done is made it look like a big goal. No.
Yes, that's how I was feeling. But I'm understanding now that it really is, it's that process in between of the thought and the want, and then all these little steps that need to take place before you know, actualize or do. You need to, yeah, it's, you don't just jump. That's
No.
not how it works.
Exactly.
Which makes sense because we don't jump in anything really. Everything, anything that happens, anything that we do has had its own little journey.
Yeah.
Already.
And also maybe it would help to think of it as, you know, if we think about our seed planting analogy, we like that.
I like that.
Yeah. You're not entirely sure what the seed is. You think it's a pottery seed, but you're not quite sure. Do you know, it's been in the shed for a long time. You found this pack and the cover's kind of worn off. You can't quite see what the picture is anymore. You think vaguely, there's a recollection, it might be a pottery seed.
Might be pottery.
So you plant the pottery seed, but it might not grow into a pottery plant.
It could turn into a bicycle or a motorbike or something.
It could turn into anything.
Who knows? Yeah.
It's just planting the seed that says, how do I choose my life to, how do I choose to wander through it?
I really love it, and it's a question I need to keep on hearing again and again and again, and I need to consider again and again, because we don't, or I don't, you know, or most of us don't, and women don't. I think we spend so much time looking after everybody else, or putting everyone else's needs before ours, to ask yourself what you actually want, without that thing we spoke about last week of the selfish, you know, factor. But then how selfish is that? Because I do turn that around, thinking if I'm happy and doing what I need to do, then everything's better at home. Chris is happier, the dogs are happier, every work is better, everyone benefits from me being a happy bunny.
Yeah.
And they don't benefit when I'm not feeling great. So
no. And you know, if I go back to you know, to try and take the pressure off again, as in another way, you know, I went through this and I turned it into, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. Oh God, that means I need to figure out what my purpose is. Oh, I've got to find out what happiness looks like. Oh, you know what I mean? That's like,
yes, because there's a lot attached to that, or feels like there's a lot attached to that.
Yes, and that, you know, it's always, any of the pressure is how we've interpreted what's going on the outside, and the outside loves to put pressure on. Like everybody wants to crowd in, and whether you know them or don't know them, whether it's an article you read or something you witness or something you watch, it's all crowding in and reinforcing the story that already exists, that says this is how it is. But to take the pressure off, it's like, well, I don't have to come up with a purpose. I don't have to have, there's not a definitive, right, I've arrived, that's it, brilliant. The perfect day is pottery at 8, dogs at 9, riding my bike at 10, fitting a bit of work for 2 hours. And that's it, right? There's my template done, cooked, take me out the oven.
If only. No, it doesn't work like that.
No.
And of course, you know, you say about life's purpose and passion, this opens up other things. If I'm thinking about pottery or bike riding or walking, because up until a year ago or just before COVID, you know, I was going into London, doing my massage, doing my workstation assessments. That was where I earned my money. And then I started part-time at the garden centre, not because of COVID and I couldn't get to London, although that's how it ended up. I started there just to be more social and connected to my community. And then a week later or 2 weeks later, lockdown happened and suddenly I lost all my London work and all I had left was the garden centre. And then the OT stuff, occupational therapy stuff has been coming up. And I enjoyed those first 4 months at the garden centre of just earning a salary, not having to think about occupational therapy or hustling for more work or anything. I'd gone from being self-employed to employed really and just getting a salary, and that's all I had to think about, and I absolutely loved it. And of course now occupational therapy has picked up. I don't know what's going to happen after next week because it's the last of the talks. I finished the workshops. I have nothing else in the pipeline at all after next week, Tuesday. So thinking about things like pottery, riding bike, walking brings up that kind of stuff as well, because I haven't decided what I want to do about occupational therapy, whether I want to spend my time pursuing it, or whether I do an extra day at the garden centre and just do that, and then pottery, walking, biking. Yeah, it opens up so many things, and I suppose I always feel like I have to make a decision. I have to know where I'm going, and it's hard.
I know, and I think that's perhaps the cornerstone of letting go of the pressure to make a decision.
Because I really don't know is the answer.
So it's about resting in the not knowing and going, yeah.
Being comfortable with the uncomfortable, and we don't do that. And it's funny because me and Carol have these conversations all the time. There definitely are people out there who have a passion, a purpose, and this is what they were set on earth to do. And then there are millions of people, and I think I'm one of them, and she is. We're very good at what we do, but it's still not the thing. I don't get excited. I don't wake up and think this is what I want to do. I'm very good at it, but it's not my thing. If I had to choose a thing, there is no thing. If I had to choose a thing, I'd choose those three things and no work at all, pottery, walking and biking.
Well, but that's okay. I think you kind of have to give yourself permission to let that thought, give it some air, take it out for a walk. Like, oh, really?
Yeah, but where's the business and the success and the finances, and where's the, I don't know.
Well, exactly. You don't know. And I don't know. I mean, I'll share a bit of my experience. I don't know either. I have to repeatedly let go of, I don't fucking know. I don't know. Do I want to be working with clients? Yeah, for now. But is that what I want to do all the time? Don't know. Not sure.
It's good to hear you. It's good to hear you say it as well. It's always good to hear that there's other people thinking the same or feeling the same thing. We told society and magazines and telly or whatever, your passion, your one great thing, blah, blah, blah. That is such a bullshit thing. Most people don't have that. No. And actually, most people might have a passion, a thing they're interested in, but it might be making the best Victoria sponges, or it might be really good with the grandchildren, or it might be they do really good gardening or whatever. But those things aren't valued. There's no monetary value attached to that. Your passion has got to be, there's going to be financial reward in there if you just follow your passion.
Yeah, which is bullshit. It's all bullshit. And I'm coming to the belief or the realization that actually all the people, let's say all, I can't be 100% certain that it's all, but a large number of the people that look like that's what they're doing, that tell other people to do that, are not feeling it in the way that we think they're feeling it. That, I personally think the whole world is, we know the whole world is in a mess and trying to figure itself out. But But I think the people that perhaps are on the edge of discovering something are discovering that something is nothing. I'm getting a bit zen here, aren't I?
No, I get it. I get it. I think, yeah. I think it's a societal issue, definitely a global issue. It's almost like the schooling system needs to be changed. I mean, our basic foundation of growing us as children and adults needs to be changed. It's been the same narrative about what success is and what your passion is, and really that needs to change. That doesn't, work isn't the same. People have 4 jobs now, not 1 job for life. Things are so different now, and the narrative hasn't changed about that. We're still being, because I really have it in the back of my mind the whole time. I can honestly, hand on my heart, say that I still feel like a failure a lot of the time, because I can't take the finances, I can't take the bringing in the money, looking after myself. As an independent woman, I haven't bought my own car and bought my own house and been able to look after myself. And I mean, I have looked after myself, but in that societal way, where follow your dream or work hard and you make the money has never been part of, also because I don't think it's that important, but it's never been part of the equation. And that's one area where I feel, and I still do sometimes feel like such a failure. But I know that's society.
So take that thought that you said, I think you said I'm not taking care of myself.
I can't remember. Oh, not taking care of myself. Not being able to look after myself.
Take that thought. So
financially.
You're not able to look after yourself. So just close your eyes for a second and think that thought, I'm not able to look after myself. And just find the truth of it. Is that a yes or a no? I'm not able to look after myself. Yes or a no?
Not true.
Not true. So if you don't have to let go of that thought, but just experience what it might be like to let go of it. Take yourself to a situation where you felt like you're not looking after yourself, and you can see all the things going on that tell you you're not looking after yourself. But even as you're witnessing them, you witness them from a perspective where that thought is no longer there.
Yeah, it's if I look at it objectively, it's better. I think it's always been subjective. I've placed my own story on it of what that means, which is where my self-worth has gone down.
So how does that feel when you just momentarily, what is it like without the thought? When you just, because you've already said it's not true. It's just a story.
It's fine. It's just another day. It's just life. It doesn't mean anything.
So it's not true. So let's switch it. I am able to look after myself. I can look after myself. Is that as true? Is that truer?
It's very true, but I still resist because it isn't what, society says looking after myself involves. And when I say society, I always come back to money. I always mean financially.
Yeah.
Always that. I feel like I can do everything else except that.
But you can open your eyes. It's fine. I'll let you close your eyes in a second. So what we'll do today is allow, because I can tell it that like the money has made you constrict, and we're gonna just plant the seed of a 10 where that thought is not a problem.
Okay, I'm up for that.
Yeah. So I want to really distinguish between the thought not being the problem and the idea attached to it. So at the moment, and I get this, I get this too.
Mm.
Idea attached to the thought, oh, I need to make more money, you know, I need to be able to support this house on my own and pay all the bills. I need to be able to do that. Well, you survive pretty well regardless, you know,
Very
is
well.
the truth.
Mm.
It sounds to me, in the short time I've known you in your life, you've supported yourself pretty damn well.
Mm. Mm.
There's never been a moment, well, there might be a moment where you felt like, but no longer than a moment where you haven't supported yourself. You've fed yourself, you've had a roof over your head, you've had experiences, you've educated yourself, you've built businesses, there's not been a moment where you've not supported yourself.
Mm. Very true.
So there's the truth of it. So in thinking about the 10, it's just about, well, your 10 is your 10, but maybe the 10 is about what is it like without the thought
Mm.
because you've already said it's not true anyway. uh,
Yes.
so living life without that thought,
Feels quite freeing.
mm,
I think it's at the back of, I was going to say it's at the back of decisions that I make, which is true. I might not necessarily always carry out the decision in favor of that thought, but it's yeah, it's always been in the back of my mind.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think when we experience it, it feels like when we're in the story, it can feel like it's the lettering in the rock that goes through us. That's what it feels like when we're in the story.
Yeah.
But what I'm discovering is that it's not the lettering in the rock. It isn't us. It's a parasitic plant that's wrapping itself around the tree.
Mm.
And we can, so we're separate from it.
That's nice. That gives me a sense of breathing easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the mistletoe or it's the ivy, you know, which are lovely enough in their own right, but they don't define the tree. They aren't the tree.
I like that it's separate from the tree.
Yeah. So should we go with that?
I like that it's not the lettering inside. That's a good visual.
Yeah, because just quickly, the conversation we had on Tuesday where you talked about the brain fog and stuff, I still suspect that a lot of that comes from cortisol, which links to, even though you've made great strides, leads to the little stressful, unacknowledged thoughts that underpin that kind of thinking. Because cortisol does completely cloud our thinking, affects our memory, affects it. I mean, the phrase that I learned when I was trained, cortisol makes us stupid.
Really interesting, because when I was doing the workshops, I mean, that's what I mentioned about how stress affects the body and the release of cortisol. It's funny hearing it in another way, and it does make you less able to think clearly and not be able to problem solve and feel more overwhelmed. And those are all attributes of my brain fog, really.
Yeah.
Gosh, I taught that workshop for 5 weeks, 5 times, and I didn't get that connection.
No, because you're engaged there for someone else then. You're yeah. Right, get yourself relaxed. Let's have
So
some
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, there shouldn't be any deliveries. Husband didn't want to take them because he had his vaccine jab yesterday. He's not feeling good.
I think men are suffer with it more than us.
Oh, he's such a big baby. I couldn't wait for him to leave the house.
Right, so get yourself comfortable.
Mm.
And just as you exhaled in that moment, you stepped into a different world. Or is it? In this moment where you close your eyes, there's that question, that perennial question of, are you stepping into a different world? Or just the world that is real and really exists? Is this the real world as you close your eyes and everything else is just a mirage? Some kind of cloudy, hazy vision that we've worked hard to focus on. We've learned to focus on all of the things in the outside world, all the things that we think are real, that we attach to. But maybe as you just allow yourself to rest, knowing or remembering that there's no right or wrong way to do this. This is your way. Your way is the only way. Not my way, not Chris's way, not the way of any of your clients or your employers, not the way of any of your friends, not the way of your mother or your father, or any of the people you knew growing up. Just your way. It's your way. So it really doesn't matter. There is no right, no wrong, no black, no white, no idea that really matters. It's just a place where you live. And maybe as you allow yourself to imagine that tree firmly planted now, think back to some weeks ago when that seed took root. And maybe at that point it felt like a sapling just being pushed and pulled by the wind or the breeze. But in no time at all, you've had a sense that it's more than a sapling. It's this firmly rooted tree. I wonder what kind of tree. Whether a tree with fruits or a tree that arches high up into the sky like a sequoia or an oak. And the tree is a vehicle, just a way to scan in an idea of who you are in your confident place where no idea has precedence over any other. Then you choose a lovely place where there's no need to know anything because you do know everything in knowing nothing. And there can be joy in knowing nothing. Nothing to fix onto, just enjoying. Allowing your mind to do exactly what it's doing anyway, just floating on ideas that float on by, attaching to none, just being, perhaps being the tree, aware of the strength that you hold within, that you've always held within, that you've always supported yourself just the way this imaginary tree does. Or is it an imaginary tree or real? The tree makes no conscious decisions to spread a branch up and out, but it knows, receives, without any conscious decisions, just is, doing nothing and yet doing everything, growing, understanding when the roots go out and the branches reach out and the buds turn to fruits or leaves, blossoms, knowing all of that. And it is true that trees do communicate beneath the surface with other trees. Complex systems enabled by fungi that allow trees to communicate danger or risk. And the tree just is, without an awareness of what it should or shouldn't be. And these analogies may or may not be useful. It really doesn't matter. You find a position. You're aware of positions, a nice position, a sense of how you want to be, aware of the anatomy, aware of physiology, unafraid to ask questions of yourself, but not challenges, just curiosity. Asking questions of what really matters, of how you have lived this extraordinary life and been on this extraordinary journey of supporting yourself in every single moment. And discovering the self-worth that lies beneath that. Not giving that up. Not able to give that up, for that is at the core. The rings in the trunk are comprised of every moment where you supported yourself in every time and every place, and nothing you ever did, no decision you took ever was wrong. For there is no right, no wrong. And maybe as you allow perhaps a chink of light to come through the leaves and the branches, or just a sense of recognition that you've always supported yourself, and feel the truth of that settle. And just scan in a number, a meaningless number or a meaningful number. 10. For the number 9 has supported you for some weeks now. But I wonder what a 10 feels like. Whether it has shape or meaning or texture, sound or light or colour. Whether it's there locked in the core of the branches, right the way through the trunk into the roots of the tree. The 10 that knows and identifies the self-worth that's always been there. And the parasitic plants that may or may not have attached around the outside, may have an opinion, but they have no real force, no real connection to the core, to the trunk, to the roots and the branches. They may do their best to limit, but they don't alter the structure, the force of the tree. It doesn't need to try to resist, it just resists in its presence, in its acknowledgement, its ability to simply be nothing or something, not deciding which branch to grow or which bud to blossom. Perhaps learning as it goes, flexible, not holding on tight, for it needs to flex and move with the wind, confident, perhaps excited sometimes by the glimmer of sun appearing above the clouds. No ideas. Perhaps it has a sense as it breathes in the carbon dioxides, that wonderful interchange, oxygen out, carbon dioxide in. Perhaps there's something in that oxide, the colour of the blue sky, the chemistry of existence, or something more than just existence, a thought, but not a thought. When the thought goes, when you let go of everything, every thought, there you are, still, beyond the thought. Perhaps the 10 exists here, but there's no need to make a decision, to give anything up, perhaps a thought. You might give up a thought, for the thought is not you, It's a thought about you, something that wraps itself around but isn't you. You are the force, the strength. You have supported yourself in every moment. This is how it works. You are connected to all the other trees in an unseen network of roots and subtle shifts of communication sent off in all directions. There's no mistake to be made, no position that's more right than any other, no question you cannot ask, no right, no wrong, no being or not being, no black, no white, no thought or not thought. You can allow yourself to just explore the loveliness of nothingness or somethingness. Explore what you can do or just what you can be. But the effortless task of being without doing nothing. And letting go of the need or desire or pressure to do nothing or be nothing, letting go. And pottering around in the glory of your senses, maybe unclear what your senses are, but somehow there's a truth right there that you recognize the moment you close your eyes. A truth that separates the reality of you, who has always supported yourself. From the roots up through the trunk and to the branches, always supported yourself in every moment, every time and every place. And sometimes attaches to a thought. But here and now, with your eyes closed, just allowing yourself to ask the question, any question, aware of the truth, of what is or what isn't, and allowing that to be enough, to know enough, to realize you've always known enough. Never been a moment where you haven't known enough. So wherever your thoughts or yourself, your sense, your knowledge of who you are, wherever that is now, wherever it's been, just moments ago, is gone. And you are now a different person than you were just moments ago, and will be different again moments to come. And change in every moment. And yet, remain yourself. So just wondering what the 10 is, that you can hold on to or let go of and do what you choose with it. You decide. There's no right or no wrong, no black or no white, no all or nothing. There is simply you and the truth of you, there at the core. So powerful. So take your time, and when you're ready and comfortable, you can open your eyes, but leave the stories, perhaps, to float away.
Such nice visual. Thank you.
But the tree.
Yeah, I really like it, and I'm definitely a visual person, and I was just thinking the tree standing on its own and all the thoughts and everything going on around it, but it's not the same thing. It's not of the tree. It's totally separate. And, you know, if I experience them, it's because I'm bringing them in. So it's my job to keep them out and remind myself that I am just the tree. Nice.
Good.
Thank you, Shirley.
No, you're welcome.
That's a really lovely way to end the week. Thank you. We Tuesday and then Friday is a holiday, isn't it?
Yes. So Friday, I'm not working next Friday.
Okay.
Just double check.
I'll chat to you on Tuesday as normal.
Tuesday normal 4 o'clock. Friday not. And then the following Tuesday. So I've obviously added in the extra Friday, so you won't be losing out in terms of numbers.
All right.
You'll still have the same number. But what we could do, if you would prefer, is we could use Tuesday as a hypnosis session, if you'd like to do that. So that's your only one next week.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah.
What's the date today?
Date today, 26th.
Oh goodness, it goes so quickly.
I know.
Who would have thought? Okay. Okay, super.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to. I think we're going to be very busy, but I think it's going to be a little bit warmer weather.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So.
Yeah. So just be the tree.
I love it. And I love trees. I love trees. So, yeah, it's a really nice visual. It's a nice thing to hang on to. So thank you. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah.
Have a good weekend as well, and speak to you on Tuesday.
Yeah, look forward to it, Rose. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Shirley. Bye.